Chats with Trae. Chats with Trae. Chats with Trae.
Welcome everybody to Chats with Trae. I'm so excited to relaunch this program for all of you out there. And I'm really excited because I have a guest with me who I have already built a great relationship with, great rapport with, Miss Jamerika Haynes-Lewis. And I'm so glad that you're here, Miss Evergreen State. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Triana. How are you doing?
You know what? I am well. We were just talking about it, how busy we both are.
Yes.
That's the truth.
Yes.
We're both very busy folks, but I'm so glad that you're here today. I know later on in this episode, we're going to be talking about how the pageant has transitioned throughout COVID, how you've been doing. That's what I want to get into first, because I know you've had some additions to your life as well throughout this pandemic. You planned a wedding, you made it happen. Tell the folks a little bit about yourself to get going.
Yes. Well, I am from the Northwest, born and raised from Tacoma, and I now live in Seattle in the Central District. As you just mentioned, I was married to my husband, Greg, and married life has been great. From last year when we met, I was supposed to go down to Tampa, Florida for the pageant. Well, it was postponed until this late July. So I've just been taking this time to connect with people and let them know about my platform, Empowering Youth in Foster Care, and it's been all good. I have no complaints.
Amazing. I know so many of us have dealt with, transitions during
Yes.
COVID, a lot of Zoom, doom, right? Lots of folks doing virtual meetings, but it's great that you've been able to get your message out there. And I know May, we're in National Foster Care Month. Talk a little bit about that and how that contributes to your platform.
Definitely. I always share with people that this is an opportunity to highlight the work people are doing to improve the system for children and families. And so I take this month as an opportunity to share with people more of my story of being a foster child here in Washington State, as well as being able to share other facts about why families need support, right? None of us expects the bottom of our lives to fall out. And that's exactly what happens when a family comes into contact with the system. They're going through a time of crises, and they really need that community support. And that's what I make my message about, right? Is that we should help each other in our time of need. And most importantly, we're not our circumstances, right? And that with the right support, we can go on to live, healthy and happy lives.
Absolutely. And I think that, again, it's so important in even in the pageant world for there to be a diverse set of voices, and you're bringing your lived experience into pageantry. I know Twina Nobles has been doing it in Olympia with some, foster care amendments and legislation around creating a village so that, foster care students can actually have folks to land on when they are going through it, and so that we can increase the graduation rates of those students in foster care. How does that feel when you hear, somebody who has a similar lived experience as yourself, at the state level, pushing for that kind of diverse legislation?
It makes me feel so proud, and I know Twina from having done advocacy work, and she is such a sweetheart and such a hard worker, and it's really a blessing to know her. And to know that we have a representative down in our legislator helping to be a voice for youth, having used her own personal experience, is really paramount to seeing that change happen.
Yeah, I remember when I first met you and I thought, wow, what a powerful way to utilize your lived experience and diversify how folks see pageant queens, right? And we talked a little bit about some of the stereotypes, right, that exist and how you have to be able to break through a lot of those barriers. How has that been for you as Miss Evergreen State?
I would say it's been quite easy because I really pride myself on keeping it real, right, as we all should. And my life experience is just that. And for so long, I was so ashamed of what I went through that I didn't want anyone to know. But it was such a profound experience all my life where I decided, well, this experiences won't be in vain unless I do something with it. And so when I got into pageantry, I knew I wanted my volunteer platform to be empowering youth in foster care, because it can be such a stigmatizing experience where people look down on you, right? And it isn't just the dirty looks, it's the exclusion where you're not a part of the community. And especially for our young people who need that guidance and that protection, it is so important that they are a part of the community so that they don't fall prey to people who try to take advantage of them, or they end up with a lag in their skill set as they continue to grow up into adulthood.
Yeah, you know, I agree with you 100%. I think so much of it is about, I mean, we talk about it all the time in wide variety of sectors, just in Black community, for folks to be able to see people that look like them, right? And see them in different areas and different, you know, success levels. That's so important. And I'm sure that you have been using your platform to really be that example for other young women that are going through and living through similar lived experience for you. How has it been connecting with youth in that way?
It has been amazing. And you know what else has been cool, Trayana, is I have met people of all different ages who walk up to me after I speak and say, I too was a foster child. I mean, it's children as young as 5 to adults in their 60s and 70s. And that was something that I did not anticipate when I started sharing my story. And it's been wonderful, and it's been so humbling, because it is really hard and vulnerable to share your story. So it's been a very privileged position I've been very honored to have.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, for me, one of the things that excites me is really about bringing you on today is because I understand that it's important. You know what I mean? When we talk about diversity at all levels, when we talk about connection in community, it really is important that we see this. And honestly, I'm glad that you've used your platform the way that you have. And we're going to get into it a little bit after the break, where we're going to talk a little bit more about National Foster Care Month, and also talk a little bit more about this pageant you have coming up.
Right,
you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're watching Chats with Trae. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media. Welcome back, everybody, to Chats with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday, and so excited again to continue my discussion with Miss Jamerika Haynes-Lewis, Miss Evergreen State. You're representing very well.
Thank you.
And looking beautiful in your blue. I'm loving it today.
Yes, and you should know, Trayana, that blue is the color for National Foster Care Month. So just a little bit of a shameless plug-in.
There we go. So you came representing in all
Yes.
areas, in all ways. That's what it's all about. So we're going to get into a little bit more about how you're using your platform to elevate the month of May as National Foster Care Month. How is that in terms of bringing that message out so more people understand what it's all about?
Yes, well, one thing I've been doing is a social media campaign. So every day for the month of May, I've been sharing foster care facts, as well as some of my own story. Most recently, I spoke about my foster parents, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. Those are the folks I consider to be my parents. They were loving, respectful, and so protective of us. And even though they're no longer with us, it always brings such joy to my heart to talk about them and keep their legacy alive. I'm also hosting a donation drive through Comfort Cases, which is an organization that brings dignity and hope to youth in foster care by providing luggage and other care items that youth in need. Oftentimes when children and youth come into foster care, they don't have anything. I remember when I went into foster care, I was wearing snow boots and a sweater and corduroy pants. Mind you, it was the dead heat of August, right? The summertime. We didn't have anything with us. So it's really been awesome to partner with this organization and to host this donation drive virtually. So if anyone is to follow me, they can see where the wish list is and they can go ahead and purchase items.
You know, this to me is really what it's all about, because we were just talking about this and we talk about it all the time on our platforms, how important it is for us to utilize our energy to really elevate material conditions for folks that are in need. And, you know, honestly, I think that what you're doing is the right track. It's the right path. How has it been creating these partnerships with groups and bringing your message into what they're doing and what their company is about, or their firm or nonprofit? How has that been for you?
You know, it's been very natural for me. As you can imagine, this is a cause that's very personal and dear to my heart. And to meet other people who are on the same mission to help children and families as they navigate the system has just been a really awesome experience personally, and also to just uplifting to know that we are helping other people in our respective communities and the nation at large. So it's just been a really wonderful experience.
Yeah. You know, speaking of that, because it is National Foster Care Month,
Yes.
how do you get to work with other people across the nation in uplifting this month right now and making sure that maybe there's some type of solidified message across the nation? Is that something that is a part of the work you do?
Yes, it is. And as I mentioned with Comfort Cases, they are a national organization. Their founder, Rob Shear, was actually recognized as a CNN hero, which is a program that they do every year. And for the last 8 years, I've been a member of the National Foster Care of Alumni of America group. And that has been awesome, meeting other people who've also gone through the system and are using their voice for change.
Wow. It sounds like, you know, honestly, a lot of connectivity
Yes.
all around. And I think that's needed in this work. And, you know, I know we were talking about earlier how, you know, the pageant got postponed.
Yes.
We're going to get into that right now. And tell us a little bit about what folks can expect. What have you been planning for in terms of 2021 and this pageant coming back?
Yes, well, I'm really excited. And as I mentioned, my platform is such a huge part of the pageant, and its full name is actually A Chance to Succeed, Empowering Youth in Foster Care. And that is something that I always want people to know, is that in order for our young people to succeed, we just need to give them a chance, right? And maybe even more than that, but it starts with one. And I know that many people have not only gave me a chance, but they have given me that unconditional love and support, you know, during my time as a young person and as I begin to mature, right? I talked about getting married, and just to see how many people from my present and past life come and just really just surround my husband and I in love was just so memorable, and just a great reminder that no one does it alone.
Absolutely. And so what are some of the logistics of the pageant coming up? I'm sure you've been working hard to pull this all together,
Yes.
working with the, you know, the pageant crew. You know, I know when we're pulling the events together, it's always like, oh my gosh, we got to have this, we got to have that, we got to have these people.
Yes.
What is it like as you guys move into like this virtual format? How are you guys planning?
Well, for sure. We'll actually be hosting the pageant in person, and that will be the last week of July in Tampa, Florida. And I have an awesome team. You know, shout out to my pageant coach, Michelle Font, who has done such a wonderful job of just helping me become the woman that I want to be and show to the world. And another person who I consider to be an unsung hero is my seamstress, Nata. She has just gone above and beyond, stitching all of my clothing by hand and going back and redoing whatever I ask her to. And so it takes a lot of work, you know. People do see you as the contestant, but there's just so many people behind the scenes. And also my husband too, and his support. It's just been awesome, and I couldn't do it by myself.
Wow, Tampa, Florida in person.
Yes.
I mean, who would have thought that, you know, during this time that we would actually get to host in-person events
Yes.
again? I'm sure that you guys are excited
We
and
are.
elated. Tell the folks how they can follow you, catch up with this, and learn more about this pageant.
Yes, I'm on social media. You can find me by Jamerika Haynes-Lewis, and I'll be posting information about my pageant. And the name of my pageant is USA Ambassador Pageant, and you can go ahead and Google that to find out more.
Amazing. Amazing. I'm so glad that you were able to come on today.
Thank
Chats
you.
with Trae as we really relaunch. You were a part of our first launch, really. And
Thank you.
so great to have you back and to learn a little bit more about how you guys have been dealing with COVID, moving through all of it, and keeping the message alive about foster care and the importance of it. So thank you so much, Jamerika, for using your platform for something that is so beneficial and needed.
All right. Thank you, Trayana. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Absolutely. You guys heard it right there. Miss Jamerika Haynes-Lewis, Miss Evergreen State, continuing her work throughout the pandemic and continuing to stay connected to youth that are dealing with foster care and those in the system. It's so important, you guys, to always see yourself as a part of the solution, as Miss Jamerika Haynes has done. Thank you so much for watching Chats with Trae. Stay tuned, because you guys know we'll be back in a week with another episode for you.
Chats with Trae.